Hey everybody, we're back.
We're back.
We're back. More Final Fantasy VII Retranslation with Mecha and Clim.
That's right. It's time for more nonsense. Hey, Queen.
Hey Nicole. So we left off outside Niblheim.
Yes.
So we are going to jump straight in and
right in.
Go and get Vincent. The main question we have here is, are we going to be able to take on Lost Number immediately?
That's a good question, because usually my strategy involves using Chocomog and praying that it paralyzes him.
Ooh, I've never actually done that.
No?
I don't tend to use summons in this game.
Okay, fair enough. Cross Slash will do the same thing.
But although there is also the point to bear in mind, I don't have Chocomog anyway, because we never went to Chocobo Farm.
Right, that's why I said usually that's what I do, and I meant to qualify that by saying I know you don't have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently, I've only gotten to do this. I've only gotten this to work once, but apparently, if you paralyze him and then take him past the point where he transforms, you can completely skip the transformation.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. But yeah, usually what I do is pummel him with magic so that he becomes the magic monster. Right? Isn't that how that happens?
I always think it's the other way around.
So, right. So, you use magic, use magic, use magic. I think he then becomes the red magic monster, and then he's defense. Then he defends magic better. That way, by the time you're out of magic MP, you can then just pummel him with physical attacks.
Yeah.
That's usually my strategy when the Chocomog doesn't work, because it never does. He's susceptible to paralyze, but he never gets paralyzed for me.
Do you think it's worth talking about how Niblheim is totally okay?
Oh yeah, because it should be burned to the ground. They do mention it, don't they? Or did they not when we walked in? I wasn't looking, to be honest.
Oh, they do mention it when we walk in, and we can ask a bunch of the townspeople about it.
Right. And they, get mad at you.
Yeah.
You know there's a letter about it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In Tifa's house.
Yes. Which is pretty cool. I didn't actually know that for the longest time. Because I never really searched her room. I kind of went straight to the piano.
Don't you get the letter with Final Heaven?
No, there's a letter right on the desk in Tifa's room, and it explains that the townspeople are put there.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm thinking of Zangan's letter that you get with Final Heaven. Yeah, two separate letters.
Yeah, see, that's the only letter I thought existed, because I thought this whole thing was, supposed to be kept a mystery. But yeah, if you go into Tifa's room, you find that letter, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, no, I know about that.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Didn't know about it for the longest time.
I think it references Hojo as well.
Yes. Yes, it does. Yeah, I think it's directly to Hojo, for that matter.
It might be, I forget the specifics.
Yeah.
The number 11. My reunion that you're dying to see. Here it is. Periodic report for Professor Hojo. Number 1, copy activity. Unfortunately, no copies have left the village during this period. As previously reported, it would certainly appear that the copies are sensing something. However, they only mention the words reunion and Sephiroth, and show no desire to leave here. Number 2, classified. A total of 8 people have visited the village this period. Fortunately, none of them were aware of the incident 5 years ago. no one has realised that the village has been restored to exactly how it appeared before the fire. The staff playing the villagers have also improved on their acting skills. There is no further issues to report at the end of this time. End of report.
Took this guy 5 years to write this report.
Like, it definitely brings up a question of, like, what is the point?
Yeah. What is the point? You're right. I mean, I will say, let's just say this. They did a hell of a good job covering it up since nobody knows about it.
I wonder how fast they rebuilt.
Right, that's the other question, isn't it? What's the timeline of Niblheim being rebuilt? All these people being put in? Maybe a couple of years? So maybe it did only take this guy a couple of months to write his report.
There is spoilers to go into, but following the Niblheim incident, they escape from Shinra Mansion's basement.
Right.
I'm going to say specifically what we're talking about, because that's spoilers for anybody who doesn't know. But you know what I mean.
Well, you can read those reports in the basement.
Yeah, but it gets into the spoiler of the important identity issue.
Sure, of course.
Are these children clones? They seem a lot smaller.
Yeah, these are supposed to be... If you talk to the kids in the flashback, remember those two kids that, like, complete each other's sentences? These are supposed to be those kids.
That's messed up.
It is messed up, isn't it?
Also, they haven't grown over 5 years.
I mean, that's a fair point.
Alright, let's go and check out the mansion, I guess.
Word.
I'm not going to look for the combination.
Just ask.
Yeah, no. Do you remember the combination?
I do.
Excellent. I will, however, take a look at the note. Hojo's letter. I must rid myself of all those who would interfere with my research. That men from the Turks is no exception. They've made some somatological improvements to his body and put him to sleep in the basement. Look for him there if you're interested. This, however, is nothing more than a capricious game I've created. Do not feel obligated to take part. And then, of course, the second page with the hints for the dials, which tell you where to find all the numbers, and the secret hidden fourth one.
Yes. I can't remember who was playing it, but I remember somebody was playing it and, like, they couldn't find the fourth one. Oh, what happened?
What happened?
Oh, okay. That was weird. The thing buffered and I couldn't hear you anymore, so I thought something got screwed up.
No, you were speaking, so I was being quiet.
Gotcha. I can't remember who was playing it, but somebody was like... What's the word? Like, scouring the mansion for the final clue. And finally, they gave up. I'm like, yeah, it's a hidden fourth option.
Sure, there's another Final Fantasy game that does that at some point. I can't think what it is.
I do recall that this guy's allergic to gravity, though. Like, if you have the laser enemy skill, you can one-shot him, which is really nice.
You're just gonna keep bringing up enemy skills, aren't you?
I sure am.
Yeah, I wasn't too good.
Times when it would matter. No, he's not that bad. I just remember him kind of being a pain.
No, you're right. If you want to go out of your way for enemy skills, they are very useful.
Yeah.
But that fight brings up an important point. I should really go and sleep at the inn before we try this.
That is true. That is 100% true, yes.
There we go.
I mean, this area I think is the like the litmus test of the game. It's like even if you don't fight Lost Number, Materia Keeper is one of the hardest bosses in terms of when you fight them in the game, I think.
You think?
Yeah, him and the Red Dragon and Demon Wall.
Red Dragon and Demon Wall I can agree with, largely because you fight them so close together, and you have to have Aerith in your party. I don't recall ever having a huge amount of trouble with Materia Keeper. But watch this be the playthrough.
Yeah, right. I found him to be difficult because if you're playing the game and you're just kind of cruising through it, and like I understand that's not really the way you're supposed to play Final Fantasy games, but I was one of those kids who was like, I don't want to figure anything out. Give me a strategy guide. Just let me get through this game. Because the world is so big, I'm terrified of it. So by the time I got to Materia Keeper, maybe I was under-leveled. And between him healing himself when he gets low on health and Shrine, if you're not ready for it, can just wipe you out. And then his like hell combos and things like that can be a force, I think.
Well, most bosses can be dangerous if you're not prepared for them.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, no, I don't recall ever having a huge amount of trouble with Materia Keeper. Like I say, watch this be the playthrough. The main boss I'm concerned about usually is just carry armor.
Yes.
Well, that's not because it's difficult, that's because it's gimmicks.
Grabbing a party member.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Never fond of that idea. Alright, let's go.
Let's go. So I'm gonna leave this in the chat for you, the combo. You want it?
Yes, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Clim.
It's so funny because I used to have this combination written on a piece of paper in my wallet. And I know that's ridiculous.
You know, I feel like I probably did something like that, and I can't think of anything.
Yeah. So funny, because I've been made fun of stuff that I keep in my pockets. Like, I had a guitar pick in my wallet when I went to Texas. Yeah. Because I didn't know if we were going to go to a guitar shop. And we happened to go to a guitar shop. I had my pick with me. I'm like, yeah, you all laugh at me now. Yeah. You all laughed at me, but now what?
Well, now you've got a guitar pick.
Yeah. I mean, I don't keep it in my wallet anymore. I usually just bring it with me when I think I'm going to be playing a guitar. That way I'm ready. But yeah, this one, after a while, I started remembering it without any trouble because the last two digits, they end and start with the same number. So it's 5997.
Yeah.
And then, 10 is an easy number to remember, and it's the only left. They're all rights otherwise.
Yeah. You still mess up putting the combination in?
It's very, very easy to mess up.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Oh no, not at all. Because you need to do it quick. Even if you do it as fast as possible, you still only have like 4 seconds left.
I think that's one of the bigger problems with it, the speed you have to do it at. You're likely to just overshoot.
Right.
Grab this. Magic Sword.
You know, the one combination I always miss, or I always forget, rather, is the combination to get the huge materia on the rocket.
Hmm. I never remember that. I play the guessing game every time.
Yeah.
God.
I just like it better when Sid, like, is in awe that you know the combination on the first try. Then he has the gall to say, it's impossible to have guessed it. You must have known the code. Like, that's bullshit. It cannot be impossible to guess it on the first try.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Improbable? Sure, but not impossible.
Yeah. Oh, these fucking guys.
What's
Hey,
that?
I'm gonna
My
bring up
physical
enemy
attacks are
skill
doing...
again.
What's that? My physical attacks are doing 0 damage? Well, I'm not playing this game then.
Hey, Sina. Yeah, these guys really threw me for a loop. Because when their scales are tipped the one way, they're immune to physical. When they're tipped the other, they're immune to magic. Like, if you're not paying attention, you don't know that.
How you doing, Sana? Alright, 36, 10, 59, 97. I have a bad feeling about this. Do you think that's a Star Wars reference?
I always do, yeah. I have a hard time hearing that phrase and not thinking they're trying to reference Star Wars. Especially when you have names like Nanaki and Biggs and Wedge.
Nanaki? Yeah,
Anakin. Anagram.
Interesting point. I'd never considered that, but I'm terrible with anagrams.
It's not even really an anagram. It's just the N in front of Nanaki. Just put it at the end and it's Anakin.
Just finished cooking? Well, we're about to get cooking here.
Yeah, buddy.
Alright, let me try this again. You were right, 4 seconds.
I'm glad. It's almost as if I've done this 25 times.
No, it's just funny that I also got it on 4 seconds. No more, no less.
Yeah.
Timothy, use Big Shot.
On. Now's the time. The time is now.
Time is going, so have I. Oh, what a bitch.
Man, I really do like this boss, though. What
about the boss do you like?
What about it?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's such a unique idea, and he looks cool as hell.
I think a big part of my preference for a lot of bosses in this game are just that I really like the low poly design.
Now, do you mean like the way they're shaped with polygons? Is that what you mean?
Partly, yes, but also the way that the colours are limited on them.
Okay.
Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah, it's sort of... Yeah. I think I know what you mean.
Oh, that's actually a fair point. I've forgotten about that.
What's that?
We're not on limit level 1 for Cloud. So no curse slash.
That's right. Okay, well, shit.
Guess we're doing this old school.
Guess so.
Ain't no blade being where we're going, it's rending light.
Rending light, yeah. And I really do like that butterfly edge, though. Cool looking sword. The
I don't feel
scallop.
quite the same way. I feel like it is kind of basic in comparison with a lot of the other swords.
I think that's why I like it.
I can understand the appeal of simplicity. You know, it's really rare for me to see the magic side. I usually just go all physical on this thing.
I know, right? But now you don't have to worry about MP. Now you can just all-out attack the thing, which is cool. Which is why I like this version of it. Problem is
I definitely
here.
Understand the appeal.
So strong.
Yeah.
It's almost equally as good as an option to put everybody in the back row, use all physical attacks, and then get his purple form. That way you're in the back row. Quara? Really? That's what Quake 2 is?
Apparently. Oh, Biora. You know what? That's a spell name I never liked, and it's actually in regular Final Fantasy. Watera.
Yeah. Yeah, I always have a hard time not wanting to say Watera. Nice. GG's.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Should have said that 7 seconds ago. That's on me.
It's the stream delay. It's understandable. That's why I didn't say, like, yeah, no, I've done it. Because I wanted you to have the suspense. Have I done it yet? Have I not?
It did feel suspended, so that's some nice work. Some nice work, Mecha. I gotta take my board out for my headphones. I gotta make sure to charge them next time.
Next time.
I mean, they'll probably survive both this and the next stream, but why risk it?
It's a fair point.
I mean, worst case scenario, I just use a different set of headphones, but...
I don't know if it's come up before in the the progress of this series of streams, but I really like those chosen by the planet as a musical piece.
Yes. Oh, as a musical piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it conveys everything it needs to.
Right.
The subtle dread that builds up off it.
Yeah. Sort of the drum beat that signifies the terrified heartbeat. Like it. Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Honestly, the bells more than that. But a combination of the two, definitely.
Right.
There's
yeah, there's a little like crescendo bit in the middle. Yeah, okay. Alright. I support it.
As a character theme, I prefer that to One Winged Angel for Sephiroth.
Yeah, I agree with that. One Winged Angel is just pure, unadulterated boss theme.
Yes.
Yes. Roast chicken stuffed with orange, garlic, and thyme on a bed of red onions. Roast potatoes with chili. Chantilly carrots braised in chicken stock, garlic, and thyme. Beef dripping Yorkshire pudding. And a homemade gravy. I must admit, I'm very impressed with myself. Sina, 2021. That sounds great. That sounds really, really good.
I like Yorkshire puddings. That's my only contribution to that. I like Yorkshire puddings.
I hate those pumpkin monsters. That's my contribution to this.
Anything that inflicts status effects.
Yeah. Most importantly, confusion. There's nothing worse than casting a magic, like Beta, for example, getting confused, and then nuking your entire party to death.
Well, you know, you saw my SMT Digital Devil Saga streams. You know how I feel about confusion.
Yeah, that's right.
We have Nocturne coming up at some point as well, because Chanson redeemed that.
Oh, yeah?
And Nocturne is harder than Digital Devil Saga.
You've played Nocturne before, haven't you? On stream?
Yes.
I thought so.
No, I did a little bit on stream, and then switched to Digital Devil Saga.
That's right.
So when we get to
yeah,
when we do it on stream this time, we're going to be doing the hard type mod that I've got, which adds some quality of life features.
Cool. I love quality of life features.
Did I not pick up the goddamn key?
I thought you had left that safe faster than normal. I kind of looked up and you were in the inn, like, huh. It's alright. It couldn't hurt to get some more fights in, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of tedium running all the way back and dealing with the fights.
Sure. That's what's nice about the ports is if you make a mistake like that. I thought about doing it during Final Fantasy IX at one point, turning on the no encounters.
Oh, I never do that. I'll turn on the fast forward, I won't turn on no encounters.
Yeah. Well, it was more of like, oh, I forgot to do this and I don't feel like going back through it. And I said, no, I'm not going to turn it on because, frankly, I could have used the levels, you know?
Yeah, it's like you say, like, the extra experience isn't a bad thing. It's just the tedium of going back and dealing with the
tedious,
fights.
Yeah. Yep.
So no, I'll speed it up, but the extra fights ultimately will be appreciated in the long run.
Especially where I'm going now. I hate this place. I do like the Desert Palace, though. I think that's kind of a fun puzzle dungeon. With all the glowy balls to do.
Oh god, glowy balls reminds me of FF10 temple puzzles. I don't have a problem with puzzle dungeons. It's something I quite enjoy with some of the older JRPGs. I feel like modern RPGs don't really do puzzle dungeons anymore.
Yeah.
But I absolutely hate temples in FF10.
Cloister of Trials is?
Yeah.
Are they Cloister of Trials, or are they Cloister of Trials apostrophe?
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, some of them are a pain in the ass. The fact, yeah, no. You know what, there's no way around it. They're not fun. They're just annoying.
Yeah.
There's no redeeming quality there.
Nope. Yeah, I just realised that's one of that, like, thinking about that just then is like, yeah, no, I just realised that's one of my problems with more recent RPGs. They don't really do puzzle dungeons.
No. Well, you know, it's all from a gamer standpoint. Like, nobody now, I mean, us, nobody of the younger generation is interested in that. They want action. At least, you know, you can say that in a blanket enough statement that I think it's true. Then you have a game like, well, not Resident Evil 7, because I don't count shadow puzzles as a true puzzle. Like, that was more puzzle than you saw in Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Well, if you're gonna not count something like a shadow puzzle, then how many puzzles in the history of Resident Evil can you count?
I don't know, I feel like enough of them, like, actually make you think. Not that the shadow puzzle doesn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool idea, and it's... But you picked up Odin, but you didn't get the key? Ah.
Come on, Clim. Odin's a bright red ball that just flies out of the safe.
You're right, you're right, you're right, you're right.
It'd make less sense if you picked up the key and not Odin.
Yeah, this is true. I wasn't so much making fun of you as much as like, oh wow, that really happened. But honestly, looking at that key looked very faint.
Mm.
Like I think in the remaster on PS3/4, 4 more so.
Well, the PS3 version is just the PS1 version.
Right. This is true. Man, I loved playing this on PS3.
I just love playing this. After going through the PS1 version again, next time I do this, will probably end up being on Switch.
Mm. Now,
the benefit of portability,
version...
the benefit of portability plus like all the fast forward and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is fast forward. Like I keep tossing around the idea of doing the Chocobo Hot and Cold game in Final Fantasy IX, but like that's fun for me. I don't know if that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
At the same time, like most of the people who come into my stream are you guys. And I feel like you're all there to just hang out anyway, which is cool. I appreciate that.
I think the thing you really have to go with the streams is to do what you want to do.
Mm. Yeah, it's so funny because like when Rebel talks about it, he's like, you know, find like a theme you want to do and stick with that. Like if you're thinking about growth, I'm like, okay, I get that. But at the same time, I take the mentality you just said and say like, well, if I'm not having fun doing the things I'm doing, and I'm not doing the right thing. So I need to find something that bridges the gap with both of those things.
And I think that in regards to Rebel every now and then with that idea, is like I could do what Rebel does and play Resident Evil over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And I have done. I've done a lot of Resident Evil on the stream.
Yeah.
It never contributed to growth for me.
Mm.
And even if it had, I couldn't keep doing it.
Right.
Because if all I'm after is growth, then why am I streaming?
Mm.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, totally.
I do it for fun, and ultimately streaming has helped me be very focused on completing games.
Right.
Well, everybody needs to stream for their own reasons.
Yeah. I think so. That's why I never bothered streaming, Sina. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's so funny. Because the only reason I got into it was really because of Allie. And then Mecha, I started. No, I'm getting to that. And then you started. Well, not that you started, but then I started watching you stream, and just the like camaraderie and the friendship, and like the friendly chats that were both in Allie's stream and in your stream. It was like, hey, like this could be fun. And I started watching other streamers, and I realized that you can stream directly from PS4, you can stream directly from Xbox. You don't need all these gadgets. They help. As I've discovered last time I streamed Final Fantasy IX, and the stupid broadcast bar now appears on the stream, and it never has before. I don't know. The whole thing is weird. But yeah, that's really the only reason I ever did. I was like, I kind of want to be a part of this.
Mm.
And I tried it, and it was fun. And at the same time, I was like, this is a lot for me to handle. To have to talk and fill time and be entertaining.
Mm.
Forget how edgy Vincent is? Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's kicking in again.
Here we go.
I would love if this music would herald my approach.
Right?
Like, just the bells and the heartbeat drum, and then as I enter the room, then the choir comes in.
Right. Oh, it's so good. And see, this is the sort of thing I can appreciate that Final Fantasy VI set the groundwork for, because Uematsu.
Forget how edgy Crow is.
It's true.
What a dick. He just threw materia at me.
At least it's
I'm
destructive
taking that materia.
You throw that on added effect and you start sudden deathing people, it's fucking great.
That isn't destruct.
Did that say extinguish? That's bullshit. What the hell? Okay. Alright, we'll use Odin instead. Oh, what Uematsu was doing in Final Fantasy VI with the limitations of Super Nintendo. I think he, like, on disc, was, like, able to kill it.
Yeah, the expansion from 6 to 7 and then 7 to 8 in the musical capability is really impressive. Yeah. Then the expansion from, I think, start with 4. And 4 has some decent musical pieces.
Sure.
But you can feel how they're still getting to grips with the Super Nintendo hardware.
Yeah.
Like, specifically go with the original. Vincent, why the fuck aren't you coming out?
Oh, I don't think you talked to him enough. You need to exhaust his dialogue. I thought that didn't take as long as I had expected it to. I was busy on my own monologue. You're still
okay. Who wants to be Vincent? I see Bane's lurking. We'll make Bane Vincent, because we haven't let Bane be anybody yet.
It is fitting, because he does look like he's wearing a Bane mask. No, it's his coat, but...
The name is Bane. Coincidentally, Bane can actually do a pretty good Bane impression.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The name is Bane. Does everything you say rhyme? In time, you will find... that, yes, I rhyme.
Banecent.
Banecent. Like I did 50 Cent.
I still think the best name any of us came up with was Bread 13.
Bread 13 was brilliant, yeah. It was so
that you
good.
Quit the game and restarted it so you could rename Red 13 into Bread 13.
That's how good it was. If only I had not been muted that whole time, I could have had a discussion with you guys.
Oh, I forgot that they renamed Professor Gas to Gusto.
Oh yeah, that's right. Lucretia is still the same.
Yeah, I was surprised at that.
That is pretty surprising. Gusto, like he's an Italian mobster. Hey, Dr. Gusto. Put a little gusto on that salami, eh?
Alright, that should be it. There we go. Yeah. I need to look at the character list. Will you encounter Hojo? Oh, probably. It's the weird thing to me here. It's like, yeah, no, we're chasing after him and Sephiroth, so probably it's like, at what point did we decide we were chasing after Hojo? Because we saw Hojo at Costa del Sol, and there was nothing stopping us there.
It's true.
Okay, so looking at the character list now, I think we're going to go with my intention when we started this, and call Sid Signer.
Okay. Sounds like good. Yeah.
Anyway, Final Fantasy IV. It's got some decent tracks, but you go back to the Super Nintendo version, the original Super Nintendo release, and it's fairly simple compared to how they would get. It does really feel like they were still getting to grips with the hardware.
Okay.
And I don't mean simple just in terms of Final Fantasy. Compare it with other stuff Square did on the system, like Secret of Mana. Or like Secret of Evermore.
Did they have any other secrets? Like
Seiken Densetsu 3, which people called Secret of Mana 2 for a long time, then Square finally localized it as Trials of Mana.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound more familiar to me.
Honestly, I was just trying to think of another Square game on Super Nintendo that wasn't Bahamut Lagoon.
Why didn't you think of Super Mario RPG: The Legend of the Seven Stars?
Because it was never released over here.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for that. You don't.
No, they released it on Virtual Console over here, and it is also on the Super Nintendo Mini.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they didn't put it out on Super Nintendo over here, which was weird. But the bigger question is, why didn't I think of Chrono Trigger?
Yeah. I didn't even realize that was Squaresoft, to be honest.
Yeah, like Square's magnum opus.
And can we talk about how stupid a name Square Enix is?
Well, yeah, there's a reason for the most part I still call it Square.
Right.
I mean, I like Squaresoft, but old Square is kind of weird in that it refers to itself as like Square Co. and Squaresoft separately.
Oh. That's weird.
It's like there are times where it calls itself Squaresoft and times where it calls itself Square Co. And I never understood that, but I like Squaresoft. Hey, Teak.
Hello. Welcome to the
But if you want to talk about the problem with Square Enix, I would say that the output of Square and Enix has been way less creative since the merger.
Yeah,
which could just be... It could be a coincidence and more to do with the expansion of the game industry.
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's that question mark attack that I love on enemy skill. I mean, I hate to have to learn it. Because there's no way you can force learn it. You just have to hope that it works.
But yeah, Final Fantasy IV sounds like very basic musically. Composition is good, and that is shown with the later releases, where the hardware was there. Final Fantasy V gets better, and I think Final Fantasy V's best track, Clash on the Big Bridge, really showcases that.
Yes, please. Talk about wanting a intro music. That would be mine. I fucking love that song so much. It's unreal. Hey, Phazon.
It is fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. And like,
how you doing, Phazon?
Yeah. You ever hear like orchestra versions of these songs, like freaking Philadelphia harmonic situations where they have a full
the Distant Worlds concert.
Yes, exactly. Oh man, all that stuff is so good.
But then we go from Final Fantasy V with its one standout track of Clash on the Big Bridge to Final Fantasy VI. And Final Fantasy VI is a game entirely composed of standout tracks.
Yeah, from the very start of the game you have Terra's theme, which is really, really good.
Even before Terra's theme, in the actual opening, before the intro.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I forget what they call it, but it has hints of Dancing Mad.
Yes. Yeah, the intro with yeah, and they show the whole empire and all that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Terra's theme, honestly, it made me feel depressed in a way that I'm, like, compelled to continue this game.
Terra's theme is fantastic. I would argue, as much as I like FF7's overworld theme, its first overworld theme, not its second, Terra's theme, I think, is the best overworld theme in the series.
It's fair. Don't know that I could disagree. Final Fantasy IX might make me question it. But just because I feel so much more of an attachment to 9, so it could be nostalgia speaking.
Alright, we'll be here when you get back, Nicole. But then you go from that into the regular battle theme is pretty good. I really like the decisive battle. It's probably my third favorite boss theme in the series.
Yeah, I don't care for the regular regular battle music in Final Fantasy VI. I really don't, like, at all.
That's fair.
But decisive battle kills it. It's so good. So
and you got stuff like go on.
Like, I just that I think the battle music in Final Fantasy V I like better than 6, and they have similar qualities. Like, the same couple of notes after the bass lead in are the same. I just feel like the resolution of Final Fantasy VI's battle theme just doesn't lead me where I want it to go. I think that's because I got so used to Final Fantasy V's battle theme.
I'm not arguing. Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
No, that being said.
Oh, that being said, I preferred the decisive battle to the boss music that's in Final Fantasy V. I like the one in 5. Decisive battle is just, it's the same thing with Dancing Mad and, well, not the same, but similar. Dancing Mad versus One-Winged Angel. One-Winged Angel is just a better boss theme. Decisive battle is a better boss theme than in Final Fantasy V. That's just fact. I'm not even a huge fan of Final Fantasy VI, but Terra's theme is god tier. Yeah, it is. You're right.
That's the thing, like, I'm not arguing that FF6's standard battle theme is better than any other.
No.
Overall, I prefer FF7's battle theme. It's probably my favourite. I love when it builds up to its crescendo in FF7.
Right.
I really like Don't Be Afraid in FF8. I quite like, honestly, I like Blinded by the Light in FF13. Is Blinded by the Light is the regular battle theme, Saber's Edge is the boss theme, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think, well, if not very, very similar, or at least the same, like, melody. You're talking about Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah, the boss theme is Saber's Edge, the battle theme is Blinded by the Light.
Ah, okay.
But, I'm not arguing it's better than any other theme, any other battle theme.
Yeah.
It is fairly standard. Just as a track itself, it is a decent contributor to a standout soundtrack.
Yes. Yeah, no,
and then you lead that into stuff like Locke's theme is really good and conveys Locke's personality pretty well, I think. You end up with the same thing with Edgar and Sabin's theme. Although I feel like Sabin should have his own separate theme, because that theme feels more for Edward than Sabin. Kefka's theme is really solid. And it builds up throughout the game in these really, really well done tracks. Until you end up with the super experimental idea of the opera in Final Fantasy VI.
Right.
Which, it comes across as kind of ridiculous nowadays, but the entire thing is really impressive for its time. And the hardware it operates on. And you can feel the expansion of that consideration with the opera idea in Dancing Mad. And then, of course, the expansion of that becomes back into 7 of the choir in One Winged Angel and those chosen by the planet. And, of course, immediately in Final Fantasy 7-8 with Liberi Fatale.
Yeah. Oh, man. Which is arguably, probably inarguably, the best intro to a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, opening bombing mission is fantastic.
Well, yeah,
Susanakund is unbelievable. But Liberi Fatale just hits different.
Yeah. It really does. It kind of sets up the game. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it sets up the game in a sort of false advertising kind of way.
How so?
Because it's so action-packed, with the fight with Cypher and all that, I just felt it was going to be a lot darker than it was. And it does end up being darker, but like a lot of the game, you know, with the Belam Garden theme and the Overworld theme, it's just so like bright and uplifting. I don't know. That's how I felt playing that game for the longest time. And then you sort of get to the meat of it. It's like, oh shit, like the whole parade.
Yeah, when they bring back the chorus. Vethos Lusek, Vehicles Venusek.
Yes. But, oh man, I gotta play 8 again. Because I did enjoy it when I played it, and I think I've only played through it twice. But it just feels like a longer game, you know?
When I did it for the stream, I think it came out maybe a little shorter than 7. But I did less of the side stuff.
Or, I just mean, like, mentally it feels longer.
It's the 4 discs, is what the issue with it.
True.
Like, part of my hesitation with starting something like The Legend of Dragoon in my personal time has always been the fact that it's 4 discs.
Right. Now, discs don't matter. Uh-oh. Made an error.
Yep.
Looks like we're taking the long way, huh?
Apparently. I want to grab some of the other stuff before we take on Materia Keeper.
Yeah. Luckily, you can't even run into Materia Keeper. You have to, like, talk to him.
Yeah, you have to press the button.
Yeah, which is interesting. Last time I played Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX wasn't out yet. Yeah, that's... yeah, that's about right.
I think it's an interesting case, though, of, like, Materia Keeper is one of the only enemies that appears on the field map.
Yeah. Yeah, really, what are the only ones? Diamond Wall, Diamond Weapon, and Carry Armor. Oh, and Genova, Synthesis.
But of those, Diamond Weapon is also the only other one that you have to interact with.
That you have to, yes. Oh, shit.
Maybe that thing should have been the boss instead of Materia Keeper.
Yeah, I will say the green dragons are menace.
I forgot you encountered them here.
You steal gold armlets from them.
Ooh.
Are you ever going to organize your materia or items?
I've organized my materia a few times.
Okay. Oh, did you put the Seraph Comb on Red 13?
If I picked it up, yes.
I think you get it after Cosmo Canyon, but they don't actually equip it for you. Which is weird.
I'll check.
glare. I don't think it was called glare in the original translation.
I don't remember.
It was called stare, actually.
That could have been it. That sounds reasonable.
Stare down. I know the green monsters, they had lay flat. A Plymothy with that critical hit.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, I find myself not equipping the Seraph Comb right away either. It's so good.
I probably didn't even notice that we got it.
Yeah, well, because they don't make any note that you got it. The game doesn't tell you.
Oh, that's why I suddenly didn't have Cure All.
Ah. Yeah, that'll do it. Wait, you have fire equipped to added effect?
I just have added effects and fire equipped. The fact that they're linked is coincidental.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I just want added effect to be useful by the time we pick up Hades.
Fair enough. I mean, you could throw it on Odin right now and start.
I could. Although it'd be equipped to the armor would be the problem.
Sure, if you put it on Cloud.
Yeah. Let me see. It'd have to go on Barret.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Oh, that's worthless there.
Do as you wish. They spelled Ramu wrong.
Yeah, I think we discussed that.
Yeah, we
the
did.
changed name. We don't need steel on Plymothy because I am not using it.
What?
And yeah, no, throw it on Odin. There we go.
Right.
I got an elixir.
It's just it's always a nice surprise when you get that insta-death.
Yeah, I was having that with Skies of Arcadia yesterday. The weapon I equipped Drachma with has a chance of just causing instant death. Which I hadn't noticed because I wasn't paying attention when I equipped it. It was like, oh yeah, no, this attack's higher, cool. Yeah, with how this is going, I may have to bring you back for some of the other Final Fantasies, Clim.
Oh? You think so, huh?
Fool, you haven't seen my secret weapon.
Dear God, what is it?
Well, if I tell you, it's not going to be secret, is it?
Oh yeah, that's a fair point. Hey, knock it off, computer.
I mean, if you're up for it. Well, I'm not going to be doing another Final Fantasy for a while.
Yeah. Oh my God, stop buffering. No, refresh you. Like, damn.
And I'm not sure if I'll do 6 or 10 next. Who knows, maybe I'll do 5, but if I do 5, I'll have to prepare myself for grinding.
Playing 5? Really?
Yeah, for the job stuff that I want.
Ah, yes, of course.
So, is there anything in Niblheim Reactor here? I feel like the answer's no, but I feel like you told me there is at one point.
No.
Alright.
No, I don't think so.
It's weird that you can get back there. specifically that you can get back there and there's nothing there.
Yes.
I didn't used to explore. Oh, fuck off. I didn't used to explore Mount Nibble, and then at one point I just found my way to the Niblheim reactor.
Right. Yeah, same. That's when I checked in the reactor. I'm like, ooh, I wonder what's good in here. And the answer is nothing.
Absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
So here's, say it again, y'all. I can't believe how many green dragons you've come across.
It's pretty crazy.
Like, when I come to this area, I'll save, and then I will hunt green dragons to steal gold armlets from them. And I run into one like every 6 battles. You've run into 3 in your last 3 random encounters.
Somebody doesn't like me.
Oh.
Alright, that's okay.
Yeah, at least this time we have the ladders down. Stretch. Oh, what do we have here?
I get that stretch.
I'm a magnet to dragons. Oh, Phazon.
Ah, so it's Phazon's fault.
Or a Phazon.
Oh, Phazon, if you're wondering why we haven't done more Metroid Prime since that Metroid Prime stream you saw, that's because we finished Metroid Prime in that Metroid Prime stream you saw.
That's a good enough reason, isn't it?
Yeah, I started Metroid Prime, I was like, I'll do half of it today and I'll finish it some other time, and I just did all of it.
That seems to be your MO.
It has happened many times.
I was, well, you were there in Kragen's stream earlier, doing Ocarina of Time. And, like, popped in the morning, right? And I went and ate breakfast and whatnot. And then I came back, and I'm like, oh, he's at friggin' Dodongo's Cavern. This is session 2. It takes 2 sessions to beat this game?
The reason I haven't done any more Metroid Prime streams, Phazon, is because I finished Metroid Prime in the one stream. But I did the same thing with Ocarina. Remember that time I sat down and did all of Ocarina in one stream?
Yeah, that's what I was just referencing with Kragen. I'm like, oh, it takes 2 streams?
To be fair, even if I'm not planning to do Ocarina in one stream, I'll generally have the child portion of Ocarina done in the space of one stream.
Right. It's best to do that anyway.
Yeah, that's why I didn't end up raiding you, because I said, like, I'll raid you when we're finished, and then I finished, and you had come and gone. It was like, because the Phazon was there, it was like, okay, I really want to stick around because you're playing my favourite game, but I gotta go and do my own stream. I was like, okay, Phazon. I'll come raid you when we're done. And then when I was finished, Phazon had ended. I can promise when I eventually do Prime 2, that's not going to be one stream. I drive myself crazy if I try to do Prime 2 in one session.
Is that a much longer game?
Partly, but it's also more tedious. I made Prime 1 better for myself by grabbing a bunch of the artifacts along the way. Prime 2, you still have to collect 14 artifacts across the entire game. God damn it. But you can't start collecting those artifacts until you get the Dark Visor way later in the game. damn it.
Yeah, I hate these guys, and when there's 5 of them, it's insane.
I'm also out of Phoenix Tails.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, I have one left. Yeah, we're gonna have to... the tents feel dead in FF7.
No. I think so.
Yeah, we're gonna have to leave.
Yep.
God damn it.
You don't have life by any chance, do you?
Nope. Going back, Simon.
Welcome back.
Yeah, a raid by a friend's always nice.
Yeah.
Clim.
I had like 3 people yesterday.
You know, that never bothers some other people. Lino keeps raiding me with one person. I always appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, too, it's like... I'm usually aching to eat by the end of my
Honestly,
stream.
Clim, I'm fucking with you. It's like we ended yesterday. I think we had like at least 6 people, and I was like, we're not gonna raid anybody.
Yeah.
Nah,
Sometimes I feel like it. Sometimes I don't. Oh, what did I do?
Oh, Signer's got a long quote set out.
Oh boy.
You talk about finishing Resident Evil fast, though. Clim, were you here for that time when I streamed all of Resident Evil 2?
Yes. I don't know if I was here for all of it, but I was there for a bunch of it.
I think Teak was actually on mic with me for that. I was like, I'm good on Teak for sticking with me all the way through that.
Yeah. I want to play another Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 7 was fun to stream, just because I was so frustrated by it. I was entertained by myself, you know?
Hmm.
And so
I mean, we're doing
RE5
RE5 at the minute together.
RE5 has been fun. RE5 has been fun as hell.
Well, it's gonna end soon.
No. Well, we have the DLC.
Yeah, but the DLC is pretty short.
That's true. That's okay.
Almost done.
It has to come to an end sometime.
Unfortunately. So the question is, like, what are we going to do after that?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that, because I have my, my house stuff that's amping up again. So I might, we'll see. See what my Mondays look like.
Yeah, I'm
Be
going to
missing you
get
for
30
stuff.
Phoenix Tails.
9? What's that?
I'm going to get 30 Phoenix Tails.
Nice. That's a good number. Good, solid number.
If you're not available for the Mondays, we can put them on hold for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this week goes, and you know, because it's January, so I can't imagine a lot is going to go on with the house, but it's going to start warming up soon. We'll see. And then I'll be moving to that house, so we'll see. But if we don't have anything lined up, then it's probably
every day.
Then I'll be streaming every day. Yes.
You'll be guesting in every stream.
Oh my god. I won't have a channel anymore, it's just you. Just
assimilation complete. Resistance is futile.
been the plan the whole time.
I've said, like, I'm rewatching Next Generation at the minute. We're coming up to the end of Season 3. The best of both worlds. The episode where Picard is turned into a Borg. You vote to get into that one.
Oh, man.
But after RE5, if there wasn't another multiplayer game we could come up with, I was debating doing Metal Gear Solid with you.
Ooh. I mean, I would certainly hang out in the stream. I don't know if I'll be able to actively be a part of it every time, you know? Although that's sort of a bit of a shorter game. Which one of you wants to read Donatello and who for Casey Jones? My god.
Well, it's like I say, Clim, these co-op streams and these streams where you guest are entirely down to when you're available and willing.
Sure.
You don't put yourself out of the way for it.
No, I know that, and I know you're good about that. That's why I said today, hey, like, you know, when we push upon 3 hours, like, I'm gonna bounce.
Yeah.
Because it's a big game. It's a big game for my dad. Would like to watch it with him.
There's also actually a fair point of how you've been roped into doing the reader lines without actually being asked.
No, it's fine. I just wish I could do voice acting. You know, I see some of these people who do great voices. I'm like, oh man, I would love to be able to do that. Oh, we didn't actually answer your question, Sina. We were just discussing the read lines.
Yeah. I'm not dealing with 5 of these fuckers again.
Here you go, number 4. Good old number 4. All materia.
Alright, let's deal with Materia Keeper. Clim, who do you want to be? You want to be Donatello or Casey Jones?
I have no preference. I like both of them. Donatello was my favorite Ninja Turtle when I was a kid.
How do you feel about the more modern interpretation where he has to be stereotypically nerdy?
I don't like it.
Yeah, neither do I.
I thought it was silly, and while I liked the new TMNT, I thought it was pretty good actually. The first one.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the original Ninja Turtles movie. But I didn't dislike it.
I was surprised how much I liked that movie.
Yeah, same.
The biggest problem with it throughout was definitely the fact that the turtles were hideous to look at.
Really were, yeah. Yeah, they were terrifying. They were terrifying monsters. But, again, like you said, Donatello was like straight up nerd factory.
That's not even just a thing in that, they've been doing it in the more recent cartoons as well.
Yeah, with his like little silly goggles, right?
Yeah.
Where like I liked that about the original. It's like they're all like, okay, yeah, Michelangelo is the party dude. Sure, I understand that. Like they're all kind of goofy in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, Raphael.
It was actually one of my favorite things about the newer movie when Michelangelo starts doing the beatboxing in the elevator near the end, and then they all get into it.
Yes.
I like that. I like that Raphael and Leonardo didn't shut him down. I like that they all just got into it. That was the Turtles to me.
Yeah, they're all kind of goofballs, but then they have their own personality trait. Like Donatello, okay, he's also a genius. Michelangelo, he's just the goofy-ass. Raphael, he's goofy, but he's like a hard-ass. And Leonardo, he's just a leader guy. You know, he's responsible, but he's also goofy. They are teenagers, after all.
I feel like there's something a lot of people actually forget about it, despite, you know, being in the name.
Right. But yeah, I'm curious what this line even is. Trying to think of what lines Donatello and Casey Jones have together. I will say that though, Casey Jones, I don't even know what the actor's name is, but Casey Jones in that movie, the original movie, loved that guy. Thought he was great. Like, he just seemed like a guy I wanted to have a beer with. Obviously not like when I was 12, but now.
Oh, when you were 12, you wanted to have a beer with him more than you do now.
I actually
That's
wasn't
just
fond
of
of
the drinking.
drinking. Is that?
That's just because of the drinking.
Yeah. No, I had a shot of whiskey with my brother when I was like 12 or 13. We both hated it. now
yeah, I can understand that.
Drink whiskey like water at this point.
Well, you say Casey Jones killed the Shredder, but the sequel begs to differ.
When he just slams on the garbage disposal. Oops.
Yeah. But then Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze just has Shredder, like, bam, hand out of the trash.
Yeah. Damn Kevin Nash.
Alright, Rocket Town, here we come.
Won't you take me to Rocket Town? Oh, I keep forgetting I want to read the... Alright, so guilty pleasure of mine is continuing with the Dragon Ball Super manga, which they release every month.
I've heard bad things about the manga.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I want to know what happens.
To be honest, I really want to get more Dragon Ball Xenoverse. I think, like, taking it outside of the whole focus on continuing the story of Goku, and going into what is basically what-if territory, where you can do whatever the fuck you want, has been the most interesting thing Dragon Ball has done in a long time. And honestly, as a Dragon Ball fan, Clim, I recommend you check out Xenoverse 2.
Yeah, I want to say I started one of them.
I did the first one up until the fight with Fat Boo, where I just stopped because the game was honestly bullshit in a lot of ways. Like, if you play as a Saiyan, the Super Saiyan power-up is a drop from a quest. But it's not a guaranteed drop.
I see.
And the same is true of all the transformations there. Xenoverse 2 does that way better, on top of just having a more interesting storyline.
Okay. I can't remember which one I was playing. And I forget why. Was it on Game Pass, maybe? I don't know. It was like a lot.
I've got it on Switch, and I've put a lot of time into it. It's a lot of fun.
The logical thing here would be somebody telling the police that evil mastermind is inside that parked garbage shop. Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. Straight up murdered a guy.
No, he didn't murder a guy. He accidentally leant on the button that crushes the garbage. He said, oops.
He did say oops, you're right. While whistling to the camera.
Rocket Town. I still think it's funny that at the end of the day, it wasn't the Turtles that beat up Shredder, it was Splinter. And I think it's funny specifically because it's the second time Shredder got his ass kicked by Splinter in that regard. First time when Splinter was just a regular rat. I just find the idea hilarious.
Right.
Oh, apparently I am going to be Casey Jones here.
Well, seems that way.
I even have a Casey Jones voice. Hey, New York, pizzas, bada
There you
bing.
go. That's the one.
Not even close, Zipneck. Professor and Marianne, happily ever after.
Oh way, Atomic Mouth. Gilligan was her main man. They'd be married and have 6 kids by now.
Gilligan was a geek, Bofferoni.
You're the geek, Camel Breath.
Domehead.
Flips.
Okay, let's see if the transplant worked, Fungold.
Here it goes. What are we on?
G.
Here it goes, Gackface.
I'm ready, Hosebrain.
Oh, man. That's great.
I felt like I was losing the accent at one point, but I think I dragged it back.
Nah, I thought it was great. Oh, man.
Drill arm. No. Just want to hear us insult each other in silly voices in alphabetical order.
That is a good bit.
Uh,
Now sit down and drink your damn tea.
You know, when we got to Rocket Sound, that was the line I also thought of.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they've renamed Sheriff.
Oh.
How far behind
Sierra.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is now we can start putting Sheriff's names into songs. Rather than being two, rather than being 2 syllables, it's 3. So we can do it My Sierra.
Right. Woo!
Ooh, my little pretty one, my pretty one. When you gonna give me some time, Sierra?
Yes. Outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you. Try to be entertaining.
Rufus. Rufus Obama?
Obama? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I forgot that we were calling him Obama.
Yeah. I thought about it the other day and I was just laughing to myself.
It was a funny joke, and I'm glad you remembered it.
Yeah. Like the tiny Bronco. It's got the Obama logo on it.
What's the Obama logo? It's just like Times New Roman, thanks Obama. Not even fancy or anything.
Oh man.
We borrowed the
so
tiny
ready.
Bronco. What do you say, Clim?
I was just thinking about Sid's theme and how awesome it is.
Pretty good. I feel like you're pretty far behind though, like Might be worth pausing and unpausing the stream for you.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they were a weapon manufacturer. Now they just kill the planet directly.
I'm a little bit more caught up now.
Make it hear Sid's theme. The Obama 26.
See, this is what happens. I refresh it and then it buffers.
I hate it when it does that. You just keep refreshing it and it keeps pushing you back.
Right. Yeah, it's doing it again. Bastards. I wonder... Yeah, let's do that.
You know, now I'm thinking I should have gotten everybody involved who I was gonna... I should have decided who I was gonna name everybody after, and then grabbed everybody in chat and made them voice their characters. You laugh, but the downside is you have to play Barrett.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so say pretty racist, like, you know what, I'm not gonna say racist, like, insensitively written dialogue, and try not to make it sound racist.
I don't know that I can do that.
Exactly.
Also, I'm gonna be like 12 seconds behind.
Yeah, it'd end up with a different working that we'd have to do. I mean, bear in mind, we'd have like 12 people.
Right.
Of course, you'd have done that, Sani. You ended up as Sid. The best Sid.
This is the best Sid, yeah. Yeah, you can't argue that one.
I mean, who's the competition? Sid from FF6? Robin Williams Sid? Oglop Sid?
Oglop Sid. I don't like that Sid, to be honest. I actually prefer Frog Sid.
Hey, Sierra.
Like my tier Sid in Final Fantasy IX is Oglop Sid, Human Sid, Frog Sid.
Stick around for FF13 because we're gonna beat the shit out of Sid, and I'm pretty sure we kill him.
There's a man with hopes and dreams. Nope, that's Ravis. I still don't know if he had hopes and dreams.
I hate that Ravis just doesn't get any character resolution unless you buy DLC.
Right. Such bullshit.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
And he looked like a cool character too. That was the worst of it.
Well, that was the thing. His introduction, his rolling Kingsglaive, and the meeting you have with him as Noctis, all of it suggests he's going to be a major player who will probably realize that the Empire is at fault and end up turning on them, working with you, and probably dying in an awesome way. And then after that meeting with Noctis, you don't see him again. And what happens to him? Better play the DLC to find out.
I do know he was a man with hopes and dreams. Gladio told me this.
Ah, fuck Gladio. There are things I want to say, but they are spoilers.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a picture of Gladio in the strategy guide, and it looks identical to my brother. It's outrageous. He's wearing a hoodie and a baseball hat, and like body type and the fact that he's wearing a baseball hat, the facial hair, it's like spin image of my brother. It's insane. I sent a picture to him. He's like, that's nuts.
So does that make you Ignis?
I would take that and run to the fucking farm with that fact. I would love to take on Ignis. He's awesome. Yeah, actually, considering I'm the nerdy one with glasses, yeah. I've got it. What? I've come up with a new recipe. Driving
Hey
gloves.
Ignis, can I drive? No, Prince, I'll drive. Hey Ignis, I'll drive because I'm the Prince. And if you disagree, I can send you off to wherever and not care.
Right? Dungeon with you. So, we don't have a dungeon. Well, fuck off.
And then you start driving and it's garbage. Like, after all the hype of the car in 15, it's crap.
Yeah, you're just a vehicle on rails. You can't even hit other cars. Like,
no.
Well,
which makes it even weirder when the car gets the ability to fly, and then you're almost guaranteed to crash it, and that's a game over.
Oh my god, I'll never forget the one time I landed on the fucking pavement, and like one tire touched the dirt, and everybody's like, "Oh man, it's so nice to drive." As the game over screen is coming on. And I
should get somebody to do 15 with me when we hit that 200 follower count.
Oh my god.
Or, you know, because the whole thing is a 4-person party of the boys, it takes some extra finagling, but maybe I should get three of the guys in with me.
Could be fun.
Yeah. I have to work on that. Could be really interesting. And then I'd have to decide who I like the least to designate as prompter.
Oh my god, yeah.
Swear to God, prompter, if you don't stop singing that song, I'm gonna come back there, I'm gonna punch you.
Shut the fuck up, prompter.
It's not even that, it's I like to ride my chocobo all day.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, prompter, get out of the car. Get out of the car, Prompto.
Oh, just everything about him sucks. Like, I talk about how much I hate Hope. I don't think I hate Hope as much as I hate Prompto.
You know, I never had to deal with constantly throwing Phoenix downs at Hope like I did Prompto. It's like, hey, Prompto, what kind of weapon do you use? Oh, guns? Cool. Why are you closer to the enemy than Gladio is then?
You're so right. Oh god.
Sina says he wants to be Prompto. Let's change the 4 characters in the 4 different versions of Link. You know what that means if you can find that Seek? That means you need Prompto to be CDI Link.
Fuck no. It's like, I didn't agree to shit.
You gotta love how the flashback FMV has, like, film grain noise over it.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You'd rather be the fucking Regalia.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's like, Ignis, what happened to the car? Oh, we replaced it with Kit from Knight Rider. Hey, Magic, how you doing, buddy?
What's up?
See, here's the thing with this. Like, after Sid cancelled the launch to save Shera's life, the space program suffered cutbacks and the launch was cancelled. Was that because of Sid, or was that because Palmer was the head of the space division and is a useless person?
I mean, it's a good question.
Honestly, it's rhetorical. The answer is Palmer.
Ah, I see.
Still haven't served them tea.
Tea.
Yeah, Magic's been doing more of Final Fantasy XIV lately. Oh, speak of the fat devil.
At least we get to kick his ass.
Yes.
And see him get hit by a truck only to survive? Does he live?
Yeah, that's weird. He does live. He appears on the radio when you're actually launching the rocket.
That's right. That's right.
Doing pretty good. I'm glad to hear that. Magic.
Excellent.
Obama's outside. Oh, I really hope they kept the extra honey and lard line.
Should. There's no reason to get rid of it.
Yeah, but there was no reason to call Phoenix Downs Phoenix Tails.
It's true. Yaha! Obama.
I do think this whole plot point here is really weird. Of like, yeah, no, Rufus comes around to Sid and says, hey, I need to borrow the tiny Bronco. Because apparently it's the only working flying vehicle in the world right now.
Right. Even though they have the high wind.
Well, they mentioned when we're in June on there's something wrong with the high wind.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like why they're not using it, it's why they're taking the boat.
I don't remember them mentioning that.
They say something about it. I don't think they call it by name, but they mention the airship. Oh, what horror game you playing, Queen?
Ooh.
I've been thinking recently, like, I need to start working on a list of what games I could do for Halloween. And then I remember it's fucking January.
Yeah. Well, they have Christmas in July, right? So why not have Halloween in January? Makes perfect sense to me.
I've not heard of Aria's story. Better get started, I'm running out of time. Sinking City is probably going to happen. Probably use that as an opportunity to take a break from RPGs as well and do non-RPG games. Because I could do Kudelka, which is a horror-themed RPG. Hey, fat fuck. But honestly, I'll probably want to do Kudelka before that, depending on how long the other stuff takes. Because I want to do Kudelka before I do Shadow Hearts, and I want to do Shadow Hearts. That's right, in the Obama building when the president was killed.
Security.
Yeah, before that I should really be thinking about Star Wars month.
That's true. That's sooner.
That's May. I feel like I have to tell people every time that when I say that Star Wars month is going to be in May. That is not because May the 4th, because I think that's dumb and I hate that that has become a Star Wars themed day based on a pun. No, because the original 6 movies were all released in May.
See? More you know.
Yep. I forget if the Clone Wars movie was released in May, but let's be fair, who cares? I say that as somebody who likes the Clone Wars. Clone Wars was the best thing Star Wars did for years. But that's also Clone Wars beginning in, like, its 3rd season. Then when Disney started putting out their movies, they started doing them in December. Not really even sure why, except for the Solo movie, they put that in like March or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Disney, man. Knows.
Yeah. I mean, Battlefront 2 has gotten pretty good.
Yeah.
And Jedi Fallen Order isn't awful. It's not as good as everybody makes out. It's got way too many problems. But, there hasn't been a truly fantastic Star Wars game in a very long time. Quick, everybody jump aboard the tiny Bronco, whose propellers aren't actually spinning right now. You say that, Teak, but that's really just a case of the limelight at the minute is on The Mandalorian, which is doing pretty well.
Still need to watch that second season.
I need to watch all of it, and the last season of Clone Wars. Like, the Resistance series they did that only lasted one season, like, who cared? A lot of the stuff they're doing in the comics is really dumb. And the novels haven't been great either. In Aria's, is that Aria or Arva? I can't quite tell. I think it's Aria. In Aria's story or in Final Fantasy 7, Nicole?
Like Aria to me.
It's not a game I've heard of.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, okay.
Shit, the tail's been hit. My whip.
The whole High Republic idea. It really feels like a case of, yeah, no, we fucked up with the sequels, and we can't exactly do stuff set anywhere around the movie timeline, especially because the actors really won't be capable of it. So let's just basically create a new section of the history for us to do whatever we want with. Which, when I put it like that, is a fantastic idea. I don't know, them getting away from all the pre-established stuff is probably for the best. Maybe it's the name, High Republic is fucking dumb. We'll have to take care of Obama someday as well.
It's so good. Oh my god, the fucking buffering. Like, it was there. It's caught up.
I'm not seeing any issues on my end, so it may just be a Twitch problem.
Oh, it could be Twitch.
Where are we headed?
It's just frustrating.
We go to Wutai.
Yep. No, it's just me. Probably too, because I'm running the voice chat on Discord, and so the internet is like, I don't know.
Well, you say that, but we've not had trouble with it previously.
Oh, this is true.
Right,
like I've been delayed.
Let me get rid of Reb 13 and replace him with Signer.
You know, I do have a suggestion for you. There are adamanti turtle monsters on the beach here.
Yeah.
And you can steal adamant bangles from them. They only have 2 slots for materia, but you won't be using them. Their defense is really, really high. Say again?
Alright, Faison, thanks for joining us. You take care of yourself, and we'll catch you another time.
Take it easy, Phazon.
So what were you saying about the adamantite?
You can steal adamant bangles from them, and they offer really high defense at a cost of having 2 materia slots. Since we're about to have all of our materia stolen, they might be decent to have.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Let me make sure to put red materia onto Signer. As I said before, I was probably going to throw Sid in the party.
Right.
For a second there, I was debating taking Climothy out and replacing him with Phazon. But the issue is, with Wutai coming up, it's a pointless idea.
Yeah. True Wutai, though.
Now let's save it and head to Wutai.
Word up.
You think we can get Wutai done in under an hour?
Maybe. Yes, I think so.
I mean, ultimately, it's not that long. It's just a big issue of dealing with running around.
Right. I think it'll be fine.
Well, we know where the save point is if it isn't.
Right. Oh, now we know why Phazon left, though. He left to steal our materia. Son of a bitch.
That's a fair point. You know what is really stupid, though? You made the point about stealing adamantite to equip because we're going to lose the materia. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, and I put steel on Cloud, and then just ran off and didn't do anything.
Yeah, I thought you were just choosing not to do it. So
no, I intended to do it. And now it's too late.
That's okay, just go back and do it. But it's not like you're going to lose
materia.
What?
She took our materia, Clim.
Son of a bitch. I knew what you were. I think what's nice about this area, though, is that the random encounters, the monsters, drop all the things you'll need. X potions.
Yeah, it's pretty well set up for that.
Nyx tails.
Could do with some more potions as well. I didn't realise Climothy's health was that low before we went. And it's not like we'd need the magic.
Right.
So I could have just used Cure. I will say though, these dickbags hitting you with the darkness attack.
Yeah. Not only darkness, but fucking putting you to sleep too.
Yeah. Like, you wake up from sleep when you've been hit with darkness, like, you've got that issue.
Right.
And as it is at the minute, we can't use anything else.
Right.
I wonder if this scene is different if you have Yuffie in the party.
I think she comes out of your party and says, "Whoa, hold up, I know this area really well," and blah 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 blah. And then the soldiers come and she's like, "Oh, shit," and bounces. Something like that.
Yeah, but then, like, would you have 2 people in your party if that was the case?
No, you get the chance to make it up, or somebody else comes running and to like help you.
I just wasn't sure because I never have her in my party.
Yeah, I tested it out one time and to see what would happen, and it's something like that, and I can't really remember.
I don't remember any of Ari's story. I don't think I've heard of that. But that said, like, there's so many indie horror games.
True.
And there has been for years now. Like, it's really hard to keep up with all of them. And I'm just sat here like, I need to sit down eventually and go through Corpse Party.
Corpse Party?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a horror visual novel.
Neat. I think you want to go south to go around the mountain.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All I want is one of these bastards to drop a potion.
I think this monster in particular drops X potions, so you should get 3.
Nice.
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do.
Rending lights.
Fun fact, I don't think any monster here can be stolen from. Like, I don't think they have anything to steal. I could be wrong about that, too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just gonna watch a video about Ari's story. Fair enough. Yeah, Santa likes Corpse Party.
Well,
I first found it on the PSP. No, they dropped Phoenix Tales.
Ah, okay, well, whatever. Something drops X potions around here. I just can't remember what it is. Whatever, you didn't have a lot. Oh no, you bought 30 of those.
Yep. Yeah, I first found Corpse Party on the PSP, and there's been a bunch of English releases for the games since. There's Corpse Party, there was the second Corpse Party on PSP, Book of Shadows, Corpse Party Blood Drive on Vita, Corpse Party Blood Covered, I think, on 3DS. Oh, shit. I have items I can use to heal, the issue is that... Oh, I have a tent. Oh, fuck it. I'm a genius.
Nice work.
Yeah, I'm really fucking not a genius. It took me that long to remember I have tents. The question with this becomes, like, are we going to aim for a 100% playthrough? Because if we are, we will have to come back to Wutai later.
For the pagoda bit, or for the Leviathan scales part?
Both.
Yeah, trying to do the pagoda now, especially without enemy skill. I don't even want to think about doing it without enemy skill.
Ooh. Let me show you how you do it without enemy skill. Later.
And, like, don't get me wrong. Done it. But it's so much of a pain in the ass. I mean, it's not really a pain in the ass. You just do it later when you're stronger, and then you're fine. If you have enemy skill, you just magic hammer your way through the entire part. The entire thing. It's great. Magic hammer and level 4 suicide. Done.
I always hate the level skills.
Yeah, I do too. But when 2 of the battles in the pagoda are guaranteed level 4 suicide is great.
It's one of the things that makes leveling in Final Fantasy VIII a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because Final Fantasy VIII is like one of the only games where you can hit level 100.
Yes.
And what is a recurring skill later on that enemies have in FF8?
Probably level 5 skills.
Level 5 death.
Full.
Alright, I forget exactly the order to deal with Yuffie in. You know where we go first, Clim?
You need to... think. Oh, Godo's house.
First?
To the left, to the back, by the pagoda.
First?
I think so. You need to talk to him and be like, hey, where's this bitch? He's like, I don't know this chick. And then she'll come down all pissed off, and then she'll run off again.
Oh, it was later.
No, I don't think so. I think that's where you go first.
Oh, this is why I'm asking. I always forget the order of this.
Wait. Did he not say Guga?
Nope.
He's saying Guga. Guga! It's like the best part of this guy's character. His name is Godo? Oh? Is he Godot?
Godo. Is Godo. Like, waiting for Godo?
Right. Yes. I don't like him.
I mean, the T could well be what was supposed to be a translation error.
Sure.
These people here are actually fighting Obama. Au contraire, c'est la vie. Where did you learn these words on this planet where everybody speaks English?
Outstanding.
I think doing Wu Tai is required to be able to skip the fight with the Turks later on, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, because I always wondered that. And I did my first playthrough, and the strategy guide is like, oh, you can skip this fight. I'm like, no, you can't.
I mean, we're not going to skip the fight.
No, of course not. You can steal too many good things from them.
It's the only time you can fight Elena.
It's true.
You know, she needs to learn to keep her mouth shut.
Sure does.
She seems smarter than Reno, so I'm going to hope she learns that lesson faster than he does. Hey, Emily. How you doing?
Emily.
Well, that's it for today. Bye, everybody.
See you later, everybody. Been fun.
So I did the fake out ending yesterday and today, and now I can't do it again for like another week, at least. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Sundays with Clim, 8 PM GMT. Every week until Clim gets tired of me and decides he wants her a divorce.
Nah. Oh, these are fun.
Oh hey, high potions for 300.
Oh yeah, they amp up the prices, don't they?
300 ain't too bad.
Oh, these are bad prices, aren't they?
300 isn't really a big issue, and I could do with a way of healing anyway, since I have no heals.
It's true.
Hey Steve, how you doing, buddy? Yes, I love sampling weapons.
Hey,
I wonder
Steve,
if they have a plasma rifle with the 40-watt range. God damn it. I'm gonna find where we're going next at some point.
Ah, yes. I didn't realize you were struggling with that.
I always forget the order.
Yeah. Let me think. We went to Godo's house. Guffy runs away. Oh, this house, the first house on the right there. You should be hiding behind a, what is it? It was like one of those changing room divider things.
Yeah. No, she's not hid behind that yet.
Hmm.
No, that's my point, Stein. Like saying, yeah, no, what are these weapons on the wall? They're samples. Oh, yeah, cool. Let me sample them then. Do I need to talk to the Turks first?
Shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe you do.
Oh, yeah, Irina.
Irina.
Listen, Irina.
That's
Getting down on my knees is only something I do on the third date.
Damn. Goody-goo-doo.
We're on vacation. Well, anyway. Lino. Oh yeah, we decided that's why we can't call Lino anything in the game, because Lino's already in the game.
Yeah, Lino's already there.
Oh, there we go. The woman's moved from the chest now, so now we open the chest, and
right.
then Yuffie appears.
Yep. Then you can find her behind that changing divider.
I'm pretty sure Lino was here yesterday.
God damn it, Yuffie. Back
Let's
here.
Go kill her. Hello.
Facepalm.
Anyway. Oh, in FF7, alright. No, we saw him last time. In Gongaga.
Damn, was that last time? We did a lot last time.
We did Cosmo Canyon. I forget where we started. What's the name thing? Junon, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
Into Costa del Sol, into Mount Coral, into North Coral, into Gold Saucer, into Desert Prison, into Gongaga, to Cosmo Canyon.
We got through a lot.
That is a lot, yeah.
You got through a lot. I was just along for the ride.
Oh, you're the one who wanted to do Cosmo Canyon as well.
Was.
I don't even know what kind of game Aria's Story is. Aria's Story is. It's a horror game, but like, is it a visual novel? Is it an action game? Is it survival horror?
I don't know. I've never heard of it either.
Like I say, there's just that many indie horror games. Now I'm thinking about how many indie horror games have hair as a theme.
Hair?
Yeah, like Japanese-styled black hair.
Mm.
And how when that kind of thing is done right, hair is actually really creepy. I feel like one of the Grudge games might have done that at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely... I was actually going to mention the Grudge. Because there were definitely a hair thing going on there.
Yeah.
Well, the movie. I don't know about the games, because I won't play horror games based on movies that terrify me.
Were you scared of The Ring, Clim?
Honestly, The Ring didn't bother me as much as The Grudge did. But mostly, which is odd, because I actually have a well in my front yard. And the girl I was dating at the time, she was terrified of Samara, the girl from The Ring. And every once in a while, I would lift the cover off of my well and like yell down to Samara. I'd be like, "Hey, Samara, we're going to bed," and the girl would like freak out. We got engaged. That didn't last long. Actually, it lasted a long time. It didn't end in marriage, which is good.
Which is good.
She's married and has 2 kids now, so I'm sitting pretty with my no kids.
Hair keeps creeping up your head and disappearing. But yeah, no, like, there's a game based on The Ring on the Dreamcast. And honestly, it is nothing like you think.
Oh no.
I recommend looking it up at some point. The Ring Terror's Realm on Dreamcast.
It sounds like I don't want to look that up, though.
But you do, Clim.
I don't think Jedi Mind Tricks work on Discord.
I was doing a Jedi Mind Trick.
Sounded like it.
Really? Because when I said it, I was thinking fucking the Roger Rabbit thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, you do want to drink, I don't, you do, I don't, you do, I don't, you don't, I do, you don't, I do, you don't. Listen, when I say I do, that means I do. That's a fantastic movie. You ever seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Clim?
I have, but I was a kid, so I don't remember a lot of it.
You should rewatch it, it's really good.
Should. And yeah, Steve, I do.
Alright, where is Yuffie this time?
This is after the...
After the cage.
So, if you go back to where Godo's house was, the door in front of the bell should be open now.
Ah,
you can
yes,
go
thank you, Clim. Save before I go up to the mountain. Because we don't know how much of a problem Raps is going to be.
Yeah, Raps is always a big problem for me. Mostly because I can't do anything other than physically attack it.
There we go. Shinra theme. Theme of Obama. I think this is this side quest worth doing just for the resolution with Corneo.
Yeah.
What do you think's more unbelievable? That Corneo is still trying to find a woman to have sex with, or that he still has people under his command?
I don't know. Probably has ninjas under his command.
Ninja, ninja, rap, ninja, ninja, rap. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go, 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 go. Clearly the best thing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze. Have you played Injustice 2, Clim?
Yes, I have.
Have you played as the Ninja Turtles?
No, I have not.
The Ninja Turtle. One of my favourite things with the Ninja Turtles as characters is the ultimate attack they have in Injustice 2. Is they knock the opponent into the air, or like they all attack individually, and then it ends with them knocking the opponent into the air, and then they do the Shell Crush from Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, that's fun.
I like that. Ah, Don Cornetto. It's a shame none of the girls are here, so all we can do is slice them off. This is one of the dumbest fights in the game, though. It's like, hey, get Don Cornetto, and they just run into each other and decide to fight.
Yeah, yeah, this is stupid.
It reminds me of, do you ever see Blade Trinity?
Yes.
The bit where the main characters walk into a hallway in the FBI building, and it's like, oh no, Triple H on the left, FBI dudes on the right, and they start shooting at each other, and the main characters just drop to the floor.
Yeah.
And they all just keep shooting each other anyway. It seemed like it took a while, and probably should have ended up with us taking more damage than we did, but it looks like we didn't really take much. Blade Trinity is a bad movie. I don't really have anything else to say about that. That's fair.
I liked Ryan Reynolds in it, though. I thought he was funny.
Well, Ryan Reynolds was playing Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
And I think Blade Trinity is one of the best examples of, like, if Ryan Reynolds didn't have a good script, Deadpool would be infuriating to watch. Like, it's a very fine line between funny and just intolerable and obnoxious.
Okay.
Did Lino used to have the whole thing where he'd just end sentences with yeah?
No.
And I don't mean in the original game. I mean in this.
When this? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I only noticed it when we met him in the bar.
Oh really? Yeah, no, he was doing that from the start.
Huh.
And I'll have to go back to check, but I remember making fun of that.
Fair enough, I just wasn't paying attention, I guess.
No. It happens.
I feel like that's basically me throughout most of the stream. I'm just not paying attention. Why am I playing this instead of you? You're paying more attention than I am.
Sometimes. Depends.
Sometimes.
Team effort. Well, sometimes I'm not paying attention to the game. I'm paying attention to the conversation.
We're gonna split into 2 groups. Great. You guys go that way, I'm going home.
Right now. I'll let you handle this. Stay alert.
Well, there they go. If I remember rightly, last time I streamed this, I think I, like, ran up the mountain and immediately died.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if you could find the materia stash while Youth is kidnapped.
That's a fair point.
And maybe have to think of, like, if you find it before she's kidnapped, she'll take it back and hide it somewhere else and you can't find it. But if you wait until after she's kidnapped, you can grab it and then it's all good. And then you just leave Wu-Tai and it's all good, and like, you never get her back.
See you later, bitch. Funny enough, I think it doesn't let you leave.
It wouldn't surprise me, but you wouldn't want to leave without your materia anyway. You'd be crippled.
No, of course, of course.
You think it's weird that the magic item that'll put out these eternally raging fires is in Shinra's underwater Junon reactor?
You know, I never thought about it, but now that you mention it, yes. 100%.
Well, Rude's done. God damn it.
Whoa.
Oh, his flames and fries in an instant. Here we go. So here is the $20,000 question. Is Yuffie of age?
No, she is 16. Well, I guess it depends on the country, doesn't it? Here, no.
You know what? I'm gonna say it doesn't depend on the country. I mean, we're not really asking if it's illegal, because he's already kidnapped them.
That's fair.
His companion for the night will be this spunky girl.
That's a different.
Cool. Which one is that? What do you say, Clim?
I said that's a difficult question to answer then, because if you're taking legality out of it, then it makes it a moral choice. But then why are we talking about morals? Because he's kidnapped people.
And then we should just ignore this question then and slice them off.
That sounds right.
Also, does Don Cornetto have a problem with women in suits?
Well, I mean, it's more clothes. So he probably has an issue with that.
Yeah, no, more clothes can be sexy sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd never forget you. I haven't sliced them off yet. You know what? I like this line, so I'm going to leave it up for a minute and let everybody appreciate it.
It's pretty good.
It is a good one. None of you can fathom how much I've You know what? I feel like if you're gonna voice Don Cornetto, it should be like a Liberace style voice.
It's interesting.
Or like maybe like one of those pseudo-gay lisps.
Right.
Which I think would be doubly ironic since he's like just always trying to get off with a woman who is completely unwilling.
Right.
I love that it plays the game over theme here for no fucking reason.
Because he's about to tell a sad story.
But the game over theme, they don't do it any other point in the game except for game over.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh god, they called it Abzu, I forgot. So is this going to be Rabzu or Labzu?
Good question.
Well, there's the answer.
Yep.
Clim's pretending that he can see the answer right now, but he won't see it for another 2 or 3 seconds.
I just like how all the U's were lowercase.
Yeah. I should have moved high potions further up.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Utai was under an hour.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be closer to an hour. But... pretty good. I was thinking an hour. Well, no, that was more like 40 minutes, wasn't it? Because we started at 10 to 5, didn't we? For that piece.
For you, probably, yeah.
Oh, right. Well, 10... we started at 10 to the hour, let's say.
I had to think, like, what the time was that you meant.
Right. That's my bad. That's my B.
Nah, it's good. Bitch!
Yeah, suck it.
Oh my god. We have a new name for you, Clim.
Oh. What the fuck?
I don't get why you would call it that.
It's really stupid. Oh my god. Talk about illegal, huh, guys? I even spell the 2 Z's anymore. This is all kinds of bullshit.
It's like, okay, so they've called it Crime Hazard, and I can get where they're going for with that. But if it's a mistranslation of anything, it would be Climb Hazard.
Correct. Which is how I used to originally.
It makes sense, like the stab and jump, you climb.
Absolutely.
Now that'd be yours, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, did you hate when Raijin in FF8 would just constantly say, you know?
No. Oh my god.
Don't worry, we've one up that.
This game.
Do you think it's weird that Rude throws something at Don Cornetto rather than just, like, shoots him?
I do think that's weird. I think it's cool as hell. It's out of place for him. Especially being a very, melee fighter.
Yeah.
All he does
You think
is
it'd be
punch.
the other way round, that Rude would get the attention and Reno would throw the thing. But then Rude's also not the talker.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing is out of place. Now, if Rude had, like, jumped from the bottom and RKO'd Don Torneo, then that would make
KO'd.
And then the whole group is like, RKO out of nowhere! Ah! That would make sense.
There's a lot of wrestling moves that are dumb as fuck and make absolutely no sense in any actual situation. But you know what? They're just cool to see.
Well, absolutely.
Like the choke slam. The choke slam is dumb as fuck. There's an actual attack to use, but it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I really do want to do a wrestling game one of these days.
I remember having fun with wrestling games, mostly on 64 though, with WrestleMania 2000.
Back in those days, mine was SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation.
That was fun.
I never actually got to play any of the Aki Engine wrestling games. Yeah, SmackDown 2 on PS1. And then I didn't really play a wrestling game again until SmackDown vs. Raw on PS2.
Right.
Like, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 is probably one of my favourites. Largely because I think it's really fun in the accuracy, like, capturing the simulation of it. But also, its season mode is, like, the most expansive. 2006 and 2007. Season modes are like the best they ever did in wrestling games.
I remember having a hard time with season modes because like the difficulty would just get outrageous for me.
The season mode in SmackDown vs. Raw 06 was you pick a brand, SmackDown or Raw, and you go through a year on that brand. And each year has like 4 or 5 storylines. And then at the end, you work your way up to the title shot at WrestleMania. And if you win the title, and then you're traded to the other brand, and you're given the other title, and the year is spent defending the title. And if you lose, you're transferred to the other brand, and the year is spent getting the title. So there's 4 years of season mode there. I love it. Alright. You know what? Let's put FaZe on in the party then.
Yeah.
For a few minutes, then we're going to remove her because we have to put Aerith in the party, who is Chanson.
Right.
Let me see. We got some new... Yeah, we got Twin Viper for her, and we have a gold bracelet.
Yeah.
We just remove all the materia because she's gone and screwed all of it up.
Right.
Alright. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to head to Gold Saucer and end it at North Coral. Which I estimate will take us no longer than 15 minutes. What do you think, Clim?
I mean, you could probably get away with doing the sequence in Gold Saucer. Is that what you mean?
No. Because that whole thing has the gate, and then the chase with Kate Sith.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Sounds right.
Let's get a restore on everybody. You know what, let me just arrange these, that'll make things easier.
Finally.
Yeah, it was getting out of hand with the materia. I needed to sort it out again. Let me see. Added effect. No. Let me put an all there. You can have an all. You can have an all. Then I also want restore for you. Be there. And restore for you to be on all, and that is okay. And of course, now we have counter materia, so that's nice. So link that with cover.
It doesn't have to be linked, right? Or you just mean to put it on with?
Just put it on there with it.
I usually use the empty slots to put the counter and counterattack, or rather, cover and counterattack.
Yeah.
It is a good to have.
It's reasonable. Now let's see. Sense. Death blow.
I feel like Death Blow was one word.
It was.
Oh, Queen died again. Bummer. I think I just never looked at for this run.
Yeah, death blow is supposed to be one word.
Yeah.
I guess one of the other summons then. Let's go with Titan and Rama. Use a 10. And also, for fuck's sake, take Cosmo Memory out of the top slot. I don't know why that kept going there when I was arranging the items.
Why don't you do order type? Don't put all your healing things at the top.
Let's do that before I save then.
It'll do potion, high potion, ether, turbo ether, elixir, or X potion, elixir. That's how I organize it.
I don't usually mess around with the organising this, because I don't usually need to deal with items. Just like, yeah, no, let me throw Phoenix down near the top just for safety's sake. That's kind of it.
Yeah, I get you. The only time I ever mess with it is if I'm catching chocobos.
That's fair enough. You want the Geisel greens up there. But again, that's a custom thing, rather than picking one of the options.
Yeah. Even then, the only reason I ever do that is because I try to chocobos as early as possible. The only way you can do that is to feed them greens. They don't stick around long enough otherwise.
Get him! These
guys?
dick enemies. Well, hey, what if we cast Bolt All?
So why do they have Bolt? Not Bolt.
I say it's not even just Bolt, it's Bolt All. Star. Hey, Star.
Dude.
Zeke's been playing through Eternal Darkness recently, and it's always funny to me with Eternal Darkness just how many of the characters in that game are voiced by Metal Gear actors. Like Greg Eagles, who voices the DARPA chief, plays Michael, the firefighter. Of course, Jennifer Hale voices Alex, the main character. Paul Eiding plays Paul Luther, the Franciscan monk. Richard Doyle plays Pius Augustus, the main antagonist. You got characters voiced by Debbie Mae West and Kim Mae Guest. I always get those two names mixed up.
Not familiar with any of them, so.
Mal Giff.
Oh, I see.
Like Jennifer Hale plays Emma Emmerich and Naomi Hunter. Paul Eiding plays Colonel Campbell. Debbie Mae West plays Meryl. Kim Mae Guest plays Mei Ling. Greg Eagles plays the DARPA chief. Richard Doyle played Big Boss in 4. Dave Hayter is in it, but he only has a couple of lines as an extra.
He just repeats things that people have said.
No. I think a big part of the reason why a lot of the characters are voiced by Metal Gear actors is because Silicon Knights also did the remake on GameCube.
Oh my god, these fucking birds.
Yeah.
The boost jump is the same.
Well, I didn't want to do rending light on one enemy, but that's how things have worked out.
But you're not going to use Crime Hazard?
It didn't pop up. I don't
really?
think.
Thought I
Yeah,
saw
let me
it.
go into the menu. I don't think it pops up in the menu, or it just went through it too fast. Yeah, there it is. It should be there.
Thought I saw it, but oh, I know.
Like I say, I've barely paid attention for a lot of this.
Fucking Crime Hazard.
It's ridiculous. It feels like one of the most egregious examples of the L&R problem when translating from Japanese.
Oh, L-R. I thought you said Helen or Ellen Hart. I thought you said Ellen Hart. Who the fuck is Ellen Hart?
Yeah, Helen Hart.
Yeah, right. Oh, man.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Reno. Reno is Lino. And it's like, what?
Like, maybe that is a case of, like, it might have been intended as that way originally and they just kept it.
Sure.
But, like, Crime Hazard doesn't make sense. If anything, it should be a mistranslation of Climb Hazard.
Right.
F's in the chat for Helen. You know what? I've known the location of the Keystone and the Temple of the Ancients for so long. I don't remember what it was like to having to deal with trying to find them.
I know, right?
But like, FF7 gives you basically no direction with this. Like, oh yeah, no, Rufus said they were going in the wrong direction, so maybe go in a different direction. It's like, cool.
Right.
The fuck does that mean? It's like, God, thank God I know where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, really. And like, you know, the idea is like, oh, talk to people, but at the same time, it's like, well, who the fuck do you talk to? And you didn't know that little building was there? Which, let's be honest, you probably didn't. You even
No, with
went
draw
there.
distance on the overworld, no, you probably never noticed it.
But even if you did and went there, there's nobody there. In fact, the game doesn't let you go into the building. They're like, oh, nobody's home, fucking leave.
Yeah.
Okay? So how are you supposed to know when to go there? Because it's not like when you get the tiny Bronco, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, try to go to this place." No. Just say, good fucking luck.
See, this is what I mean when I say, like, I want to try and do, like, reasonable criticisms. It's like, I love Final Fantasy VII, but it's not a perfect game. And to ignore the problems with it would be stupid.
Somebody mentioned earlier about the mini games in Final Fantasy VII and how they're crappy. They said, oh, something that Ocarina of Time. It was in. They said, oh, something that Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy VII have in common. They both have terrible mini games. I'm like, what mini game in Final Fantasy VII is terrible?
Snowboarding doesn't control all that well.
No, I agree.
But that's not a problem when you do the snowboarding. That's a problem when you try and do the snowboarding game in Wonder Square.
Right.
It doesn't actually matter when you need to do snowboarding.
Right.
The submarine game is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. G-Bike is pretty fun. The Moogle House game in Wonder Square is kind of shit.
Yeah, that's boring, sure. It's also like, if you don't, you don't have to do it either. Like, with Ocarina of Time, I understand, because a lot of the mini games you have to do to, like, get a heart piece or something.
Yeah, the Bomb Tube Bowling Alley, I always hate that game. That feels incredibly low-based.
What brought on this comment was the Bomb Shoe game. I was thinking all the mini games.
The button... I wouldn't call the button press with Tifa and Barrett in Reactor 5, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be 5, because you're falling into Sector 5 slums. I wouldn't call that a minigame.
Although that is a nightmare.
But again, like, if you're going to talk about stuff like Bomb Shoot Bowling and that's side stuff, so then you also have to talk about the side stuff in this. And that's mostly Wonder Square stuff.
Sure.
Well, how much does any of the Wonder Square stuff get you?
That's what I mean, it doesn't get you.
Like, winning games in Wonder Square gets you GP at best, I think, which you can just buy.
Correct. Or win with Chocobo Racing, which is one of the best mini games of all time.
Chocobo Racing is fine. Chocobo Racing was good enough that they decided, let's make a Chocobo Racing game that played nothing like it. Is Bane still lurking? I need to check this. Yes, he is. I'm not allowed to say anything bad about it because Bane loves Chocobo Racing.
That's great.
No, I'd probably be really into it if I had it growing up. But in all the times I've tried it since, because I only got to play it, I think first time back when I was in college, and I've never really sat down with it more than the length of a single Grand Prix. I've not really been into the controls.
Gotcha. Queen.
It sounds like you when you were playing RE7, Clim.
I only died a couple of times.
Jack.
Listen. Wait, what? Jack?
Yeah.
Jack?
Remember how many tries the chainsaw fight took you?
Oh, the chainsaw fight. I was thinking of the car fight. Yeah, you're right.
No, the car fight you did really well. I complimented you on that when you did it.
Did, yeah.
That was crazy. I've never seen somebody survive a fight once Jack gets into the car, and your movement was unbelievable during that.
That's great. I love to hear that. Thank you. All that clever with that car, but I could see why that was a problem. He did clip me the one time, and I was like, that hitbox is bullshit. But, never.
Chocobo Racing is gambling if you're not racing.
Right. Yeah, if you're just going in and buying the tickets, yes.
Yeah, it's literally horse racing if you just buy a ticket.
Correct. Yeah.
That said, like, Pokemon was probably worse than that with the slot machines. Slot machines that they took out of the Gen 2 remakes because it was straight up gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you play Heart Gold, Soul Silver, the slot machines aren't there anymore. They've replaced it with a flip a coin minigame or something. I don't remember.
It doesn't seem as fun.
As I don't remember the specifics, it might have been easier to get a guaranteed win. But I never bothered with Rocket Game Corner anyway, because honestly, fuck them.
Hmm.
I hate that kind of mechanic in gaming. That's why I've never sat down and finished Leisure Suit Larry. Because at one point the game wants you to sit down and gamble to win a specific amount of money. And they expect you to save scum to win. And it's like, you know what, I don't want to do that. It's tedious. Anyway, let me get a screen to end us on.
Okay.
That is like ending with a view. So we'll get the honest-to-God awful-looking model of Gold Saucer.
Fair enough.
Are you gonna disagree with me on that, Clim?
No.
No, Gold Saucer looked horrible, and it looked horrible back in the day. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who's joined the stream. Big special thank you to everybody in the chat. We had a bunch of people in chat today. A lot of people turned out for Final Fantasy VII. Signer, Teak, Bazon, Emily, Magic, Steve, Star. Let me see others. Any more names? Said Queen. I think I said Queen. Said Teak. That's everybody. Queen, Signer, Teak, Bazon. Steve, Magic, Emily, Star. Yeah, I think that's everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I always really appreciate the support. And of course, super special thank you to Clim for joining me on Final Fantasy VII this week.
No problem. It's been fun. This is a fun one.
It's been pretty fun. Next week we might finish Disc 1. I can't honestly believe we're like 14 and a half hours in and we haven't finished Disc 1. That's crazy. This playthrough feels like it's taking so much longer than it normally does. And you know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's not bad. Here too, things are gonna cruise along when there's less dialogue too.
You know, I never actually went to Gold Sorcerer in 14. Like, they added it, and I think it's somewhere near Uldar, and I never went there. Ever. Not really even for any real reason. But yeah, we'll be back with more Final Fantasy VII next Sunday. 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time GMT. Clim will be back with me tomorrow at 9 PM Greenwich Mean Time GMT, 4 PM Eastern Standard. Is that 4 PM Eastern Standard for you, Clim?
Yes.
Yes. Where we'll be doing more Resident Evil 5, where we're going to finish the game and start doing the DLC. And of course, I'll be back to Final Fantasy 13 on Tuesday at 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. And Skies of Arcadia will be back on Saturday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time. Three of the machines in your house. I never played Triple Triad in FF14 either. They introduced it, I just never played it. But yeah, once again, I want to thank Clim for joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's cool, Clim. You're cool company.
Thanks.
I think if we do the idea of having three of the guys in to make like a boys playthrough of FF15, I think we will make you Ignis.
Hey, all right. That's my boy right there.
Yeah. Gotta hit 200 followers for that though, and you know what? I'm okay for that not happening for a while.
Hey, you've had a lot on your plate.
I want to do a little more with the backlog, because Digital Devil Saga 2 was a backlog thing, but at the minute, like, we've got the 2 game redemptions that happened, FF7 and Skies of Arcadia, and they're replays, and FF13 is also a replay, because we hit 150 followers. So I want to get back to doing something that I've not done before. But anyway, once again, I want to thank everybody for watching. I always really appreciate support. Big special thank you to everybody in the chat. More Final Fantasy VII next week, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time GMT, 3 PM Eastern Standard. If you're in America, you can work out what that means for your time zone. But in the meantime, Clim, once again, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
And with that,
See you.
Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and take care.
Good one.
Catch you next time, guys.